Andre's podcast?
Yeah, call it that, whatever.
Yeah.
We haven't decided on names yet. We are still in the very much lazy boy doing this for fun sort of mindset when we're making this podcast. How have you been, my friend?
Oh yeah, lovely week. Still fighting that cold. It does not want to go away. So I'm having a great time. Yeah.
Literally the first podcast we recorded, I was hacking up green shit, and Andre then on the next podcast said, "Oh, by the way, I spent all week hacking up green shit. Thanks for that, Billy." As if it was me. If it was me infecting your household and not just life.
Well, I probably have some stuff that I got from work, and then some stuff from you, and it just built it up to the point where... Well, I'm still surprised we still record it once a week, even though...
Is hospitality like one of those jobs where you just get sick, like, constantly?
Oh, yeah, 100%, all the time. It's like... What happens is, because you work with so many people, and there's so many sort of customers as well as your colleagues then.
Yeah.
If one of your colleagues comes to work, because, you don't want to miss a day of work because, you don't go to work, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
Because I love the system that we work
Isn't it
in.
great? Yeah.
Oh, it's phenomenal, right? Because I worked out, it's like if I don't go to work one day, it costs me a fair chunk of money.
Mm-hmm.
And if I think at the moment, if you miss a whole week of work and you get a doctor's note, you get about 72 to 92 pounds a week.
Statutory sick pay. It's great.
How are you going to pay bills with that?
You can't. That's the point. Don't get sick, asshole. That's
It's like, no, you get sick and you don't want to miss work, so you go to work, you get everybody else sick, and there's this vicious cycle where you are sick, then the other guy is sick, but you're getting better, but the other guy is still sick, so you get sick from the other guy that you got sick. You see where I'm going? And then everybody's just constantly sick for no reason because you can't stay home.
It's like that Team America song. Everyone is sick.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's pretty much.
Because I used to work in a school, and schools are just exactly the same, except it's like children, and children are little disease bombs. They are full of just half of them don't wash properly. They're just disgusting creatures, and they just spread disease like rats.
Billy,
Like,
you can tell us how you feel.
I'm actually word for word quoting something that somebody else said to me.
Oh, okay.
That was working in primary school. Primary school is a lot worse because kids come to school with snotty noses, and they're much worse at convincing their parents that they're actually sick.
Yeah.
So little kids are usually a lot worse than the bigger kids. I was usually with the bigger kids, so I dodged most of it.
Okay.
But yeah, anyone who works in a primary school can attest. They get sick about 3 or 4 times more than everybody else they know.
I mean, but there's what's the other choice you'll have? Because I was thinking this year, at the beginning, not this year, this sort of flu season, which was end of last August. I'm like, I should get flu shots.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, I'll get flu shots. Never got around to doing it. Which, it's not that hard. You call your GP, I'm like, I need flu shots, and they'll give you flu shots.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, but I'm like, I have to do it. I didn't do it. Again, I didn't do it. And I January started, and I'm thinking, I think I should get a flu shot in January. Just, not to start my summer being still sick. To be strong and actually be able to cope with the season. And then, did I get a flu shot?
No.
Of course I didn't.
No, of course not.
It's like, why would you get a flu shot?
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, I remember when I was working in hospitals, and you think, oh, hospital, even easier to get a flu shot. And it is. It is easier to get a flu shot.
Can't you just rock up at the desk and be like, flu shot, please?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh,
it's
that's
kind
great.
of like, you go, who's the occupational health person today? Am I up to date with my shots? No. Can you update me on my shots? Yes. Here's the thing. Come to this thing. I never did it once. I never got a free flu shot when I was offered one. I should have,
Do you get other sort of shots on the house, like rabies shots and stuff like that? I don't know why you would need rabies shots, okay?
No.
I'm just thinking.
No, it's true. You do get a bunch of shots just in case someone does bite you. Mostly it's Hep B and Hep C shots.
Okay, so no rabies.
No rabies. Humans don't carry rabies. It's a myth, I think. I'll have to double check
So
that.
where did that come from then? Because I always thought if you get bitten by a wild animal, I mean, very unlikely, but you will need to get rabies shots, right?
You do need to get rabies shot because you get bitten by a wild animal, but humans don't spread it through. So because humans don't bite and puncture the skin of each other very much. So I think you can't transfer it by bite.
You haven't worked hospitality, have you?
No, I suppose not.
That was a joke.
No. I've worked front of house of some places. I know what rabid customers are like. You know?
Yeah, rabid customer. It's like, where's my food? Just bite your hand off. As
Just
you
literally.
put it out.
Well, usually when they bite your head off, they go for the clean swoop. You know.
Okay, so you're just completely gone.
Yeah.
You
so
don't need
just
a ready
dead.
shot after
yeah,
that.
You don't. Yeah. There's no point in getting treatment after that. You're a lost cause. You know. Just put me behind the woodshed. Put me out by the bins.
Yeah, just
give me a
leave him
last cigarette.
there. Yeah.
You know?
Just leave it on your chest. He will be remembered anyway. We still have customers to serve. Just leave him there.
Literally. Like, this line ain't getting any shorter, but
yeah, exactly. It's
just
like,
lay him to
they're
rest.
still
and
waiting at the door. Can we just get some service for
just
that?
give him some last orders, sprinkle some holy water, and yeah, like leave him. He'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Yeah.
Be nice to your service people. I shouldn't have to
yeah.
say that, but be nice to the people who are waitering for you.
They don't care, man. Those people don't care.
I suppose most of those people
I
wouldn't
did
be
have a
listening
tough
this far.
I did have a tough week, so that's why we're starting with this ramble.
See, I had a wonderful week. I feel really
yeah.
good and positive,
Yeah,
just to counteract.
we saw the pictures of that beautiful soul that you had.
Yeah. Those who I'm going to do some shout outs to nobody who's listening, but anybody who happens to be in like the western sort of part of London, like the Acton, Brentford, that kind of area, you owe it to yourself to check out a couple of places. One, a fish restaurant called Bronnix. When I say a fish restaurant, I mean a fish restaurant, as in they catch stuff, they bring it to the shop, they cook it there, you get what's on that menu, it's banging. Everything they have done, everything. I tried a whole bunch of different stuff while I was in there. The scallops were out of this world. Little things in the sauce, and so bloody good. And I got, for my main, a Dover sole that was probably about the size of my head. And it was delicious.
If anybody doesn't know Billy has a big head. It's a big head.
I have a long head. I have a long head, and this fish was about as long as the head. It wasn't exact proportions. My head isn't quite that thin, but it also doesn't come served with a side of garlic mashed potatoes. But
garlic mashed potatoes?
Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah.
It didn't say anything about the garlic mashed potatoes.
See, I would have gone, like, you know, if it had been me, I would have also thrown in some cream celeriac with some paprika. But anyway, I'm a food snob all of a sudden because I had one decent meal this week. Although, to be fair, I actually had two decent meals. The second one I have to shout out is a place called the Magpie, which is not too far from this place. In a weekend, there's only like a small part of London you can see, but in this like small area, I also recommend the Thai food at the Magpie. Great for lunch. I had a number 33, which was the sweet, which was the chicken with the curry bean paste and a bunch of chopped up vegetables and stuff. It was gorgeous.
So if anybody from the Magpie is listening, we do take sponsorships.
Yeah.
Even in just food, you know, just feed us. We will
please
give you a shout out.
Send me your lunch. I need to eat that every day.
You imagine them having to deliver it on
like a moped.
On a moped.
Just from London. This might take a while, Steve. Yeah, but don't worry about it. It'll all be worth it.
Well, 2.5 hours. Well, on a moped. Can you go on a moped on the highway?
No.
Oh, so you will have to take the back road. You imagine the journey, the adventure. Cue Adventure Time theme song. Going. It's like just this one guy on a moped through the English countryside trying to get the food. It's gonna be stone cold when you get here.
Oh, that'd make a really good like Top Gear challenge, or like someone who's imitating Top Gear like on YouTube. Someone who wants to be Jeremy Clarkson. Go on YouTube, get a GoPro. Lots of people want to be Jeremy Clarkson. Maybe not Jeremy Clarkson now, but Jeremy Clarkson when he still was important.
Did you see, talking about Jeremy Clarkson, did you see he has a pub?
Yes.
Did you see his like Twitter post or X post, whatever, about telling people to stop stealing his stuff from there because people are stealing his stuff, and he's like, oh, I'm losing so much money every week, dude. That's how it is. You're famous. This is the worst part because he's famous, so people they tend to be more dicks towards famous people.
Hey, if I can't be Jeremy Clarkson, second best is I nicked a bunch of shit from his pub.
Yeah,
that's a good bragging rights.
What's his name? May something?
Oh, James May. Yeah,
James May. So he has a pub as well.
He does.
And
very into his bitter.
Huh?
Very into his bitter. He'd appreciate the pubs we drink at.
Well, so he also got himself a gin company.
Yes.
Or company that he puts his image on.
I saw him doing a review of Elon Musk's Tesla Cybertruck, which was sponsored by the gin company.
Really?
I'm like, James May is generally quite a polite man.
I think I saw that one. It's the one that he took an actual level and showed how poorly designed the whole car is, because it's not leveled at all.
Yeah, he did say, well, it's supposed to be level. You know, he was very polite about it because he is James May, but still, it was quite amusing to watch him, like, you know, shit on the Cybertruck while selling his gin and knowing that he's going to get 50,000 million views off that.
Yeah, he probably did. He's probably selling really well. Because, I mean, the ingredients that he put in his gin sound really nice. I don't drink a lot of gin nowadays. I stick to the beer. But it sounds delicious, to be honest. Like, I think it was Asian pear and stuff like that. And it really sounds delicious, like something that I would try once.
Ah.
But still, looking up how much he sells a bottle for off the internet, £35. I mean, my dude, I know you're famous, but still, you can still get a decent gin for, I mean, £25, which is more likely for me to spend if I would buy a gin, even though the missus likes really expensive stuff.
That's the thing, like,
don't listen to this, please.
It's not going to be a celebrity-sponsored gin is not going to be, like, the pinnacle of, like, gin refinement. It's going to be, you know, mediocre, like, mid-level gin at best, let's be fair.
Well, as I said, the ingredients sound really delicious.
Oh.
So it might be a really good gin. But at the same time, would you spend £35 on a bottle of that gin? Probably if you go out and feel like, oh, is that James May's gin? Can I have a single of that, please? That will be £12. I'm like, dude. My dude.
Hey, that's fine in London prices, man. Like,
well, I mean, most high-end restaurants will charge you like a minimum of a tenner for a gin and tonic.
That is true.
But
that is
still,
unfortunately true.
But still, it sounds silly.
Thing is, like, our version of high-end restaurants is probably like subpar restaurants for rich people when you think.
Oh, they're probably thinking like, you went to that place? Oh, they didn't even have caviar on my lemon snow.
You trying to do British accents, it will never not be funny to me. So
because it's so wrong. It's wrong, but it's right.
You get it slightly worse than Americans do, which is just brilliant.
It's fine. It's an English accent with a bit of Romanian on top of it, so it's just right. Okay, it's people get the sarcasm though.
I'm sure I couldn't do a posh version of a Romanian voice because I can't speak it. I
never actually taught you any Romanian words, did I ever?
One of these days, once we're all hammered down by the pub, then we'll do that. We'll find the time for me to learn how to curse in Romanian. This dovetails really nicely though into the next shout out I want to make, which is another place in London, which is just down the road from the Bronick's awesome fish restaurant. That is the Owl and the Pussycat Micro Pub and Ale Bar. Now, Andre, as you just indicated, knowing way more than I do about like how gin is made, Andre and me are both kind of what would you say? Fans of homebrew?
No, we are all men that drink ale.
Yeah.
And as long as the ale has a really pleasant flavor to it, we drink a lot of it.
That is true. We have had many ideas, had many arguments, and had many interesting discussions whilst out of our mind on whatever ale the local ale house provides.
Yes.
That being said, one thing they did not provide is the ale that can be found at the Owl and Pussycat, because everything is made on site, and I mean everything. And this isn't like, look at this fancy, glass case where we brew our beer in this very stage. Nope. You just go out back on your way to the Kazi. There is just two big giant containers brewing beer, and it's just there. That's the beer factory. That's the brewery right there.
Oh, nice.
And it goes straight from those giant containers to the front of house where you can have it basically fresh as a daisy. And oh boy, it's marvelous.
Well, actually, that's not how beer gets brewed, but
okay.
Now
please,
there's Andre here. Actually, imagine me having a monocle and being really. Actually, it goes through a whole process where they boil the malts and all that, and they add the hops to it. Mm-hmm. And at the moment when you saw it in the big canisters in the back, they add lots of sugar to it, so the yeast comes in and numbs all the sugar and pisses out alcohol.
Right.
Because that's how you get alcohol and develops flavor as it sits in there.
Yeah.
And for it to actually get to you, what it happens is they take a bit more sugar, they put it inside of the cask, and then they filter all that beer in those casks and they leave them there. But as soon as they tap them, the fermentation process stops until they reopen them, and then the yeast is like, oh, we have oxygen again, and they start eating again. Technically, like the beer that you were seeing in the back, it was probably they were making it now, and the beer they were drinking was made about a month ago.
Well, thank you very much, Nerdly, for destroying my beautiful image of drinking beer out of this giant thing, like, you under a tap.
But listen, you genuinely could. But the problem drinking it just like that, you will be on the toilet for the next few days.
Just get all the sediment. Be like,
it's just, they will destroy your... Honestly, if you want to go on a pure cleanse, just chuck a few liters of that. And then,
believe me, colonoscopy coming up.
Believe me, Billy, you will be clear. There will be nothing left in you.
It's like, do you want to lose weight and gain a friend? Why not install a tapeworm?
Yeah, install a tapeworm, have some raw chicken. Dude, you'll be great. You will lose so much weight. You wouldn't even realize how much weight you lose. Also body mass, but hey.
And muscle, and probably a few brain cells. But
yeah, you just sitting on the toilet.
Yeah, the great thing about the Owl and Pussycat is it's a very, very small operation, and the man described as the master brewer of the location. There's two fellas, one guy called Mark, one guy called Paul. Paul seems to take care of the front of house kinds of thing, the business side of things. Mark is described as the beer goblin. He just hides in a cave and brews beer, and every single time he does, comes out with something. It's always refreshing and wonderful. And
all right, Mark, again, we do take sponsorships in beer because now it's probably more realistic for you to ship us some beer.
Deliver to me a nice 5.5% W13 beer.
Yeah,
deliver it to my house every day.
And if you do that, Mark, genuinely, we will get wasted on your beer and record.
Yes, we will go over the notes, the flavorings, what process you think might have been summoned to create this beer. We will dissect it on an intellectual and spiritual level.
Intellectual. Sorry. I'm sorry.
What?
Oh, that was hilarious.
It's one of the few things we're qualified to dissect on an intellectual level.
Excuse you.
That's not a word.
Well, he was coming out. That's a really awkward word.
Well, we can still analyze beer on an intellectual level, so if you want to send us free beer, please do. There's no reason to not send us free beer, basically.
Mate, we're 4 episodes in, and we're already selling our soul for beer and food.
We're selling ourselves out for another drop, man. I'll do anything. I'm not going to finish that joke. And that's not to say, 4 episodes in, we're so out of ideas that we're just shilling beer, We have had other conversations besides, what we were doing on the weekend. I've got some topics in front. Well, I say topics. I've got a topic in front of me, something that caught my ear. Andre, would you like me to go through it?
Oh yeah, go for it. It's not like I can stop you.
Yeah. So this is the kind of thought that you have when you're sat in a pub and you're about 3 or 4 pints in and you're considering a fifth, and then someone shows up and asks you a random question. My thought was, why is it that people spend so much time doing dangerous and stupid shit? Who is the kind of person, everyone knows what a skydive is. Who was the first person to go look at a plane, in 1905 or whatever, and see, this biplane struggling to take off as it just about conforms to the laws of aerodynamics, and it's like, what would be really cool? If I jumped off that. I mean, it's the old, phrase, it's why would I jump out of a plane that's not had anything go wrong with it? Haha. That's the sort of smug guy answer to why you haven't gone skydiving. So that's where I started. Who was the first person to look at a plane and say, I want to jump out of that? As it turns out, it wasn't first thought up by people who people who are around planes a lot. The first skydive, officially, or however you would describe it, someone jumps out of something high up with a parachute. Was
this recorded or it was just a bunch of people that were like, oh, is that guy going to jump out? He looks like he's going to jump out.
No, not the first suicide case. No. But in the early days of flight, the only thing where you could get up into the sky was hot air balloons. So in about 1795, 1797, I forget, there's a fellow called André Jacques Germain I believe that's how you Garmain. I can't remember. It's French. It's old. I don't respect the French enough to spell it correctly.
Oh, it's earlier than the.
Oh yeah, it's earlier than you think. 1790s, man.
1790. I wouldn't think that because I was like, oh, first person that jumped out of a plane. Wouldn't have thought of a hot air balloon.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, it was there. I mean, it was going up. Somebody would have jumped.
Somebody was dumb enough to think of the idea of jumping out of a giant hot air balloon. As soon as we get like a few hundred meters off the ground, there comes along some French dude who's like, I can jump out of that, and there we go. History was made.
My English accent was bad. just sorry.
It's not prejudiced. I have French friends. So
I have English friends, but I've been told to stop. So it's just saying.
So this fellow André Jacques Germain, he jumped out. I believe it was 1796, and he became the first man to ever jump out of an airborne aircraft. And
side question.
Yep.
Did he have a parachute? Was the parachute invented yet?
He did have a parachute. It wasn't really a parachute. Like, they're rated for different heights. I don't think this parachute would have been, but he survived. So he clearly had some sort of device to assist him to get to the ground slowly, because otherwise he would have gone to the ground very, very fast.
A big ass umbrella, sort of.
Yeah, kind of. Probably some sort of hang glider. I don't know. The funny thing was, because he got quite a bit of national attention for this, his wife decided to snap up the first woman to ever jump out of an aircraft by doing a skydive about 6 months later. So obviously, that's why they were married. They had a lot in common. Good for them.
Yeah. Oh, couple goals.
It's a power couple thing, like a guy and his wife. Like that's. I love seeing historical power couples, and that's a great one. But going back to the original question, who was the first guy to jump out of a plane?
Yeah.
Like a plane as in has wings and flies. Not a air balloon. Well, there is some dispute over this. Now, one guy claimed that he jumped out in 1911. His name was Grant Morton. And the only interesting thing I could really find about him, besides the fact that he claims to have jumped out of a lot of things, well, to be fair, he didn't have just a career in jumping out of planes. He had a career in extreme stuff, doing stunts like that in general. Apparently, at one point, he injured himself so badly that he wasn't able to work for about 4.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
He really busted himself up. I'm not sure if that was a skydive, or if that was one of the other stunts he was doing, or if it was like a bull derby. I hope it was like worth
it not being able to work for 4.5 years in 1910.
It wasn't. He basically threw his entire family into poverty over it.
Oh, okay.
Because he wasn't doing this.
It's one of those love stories.
This is one of the other types of love stories where instead of him being a very supportive person, he instead prevented his wife from getting a job for 4 years, and when she said, well, we're going to starve to death, I'm getting a job anyway, he got arrested several times for domestic violence. So, not a happy end of the story, kind of the opposite of what we had going for.
With the first one, yeah.
Yeah, so this guy's obviously some kind of lunatic, I thought. So let's look at the next guy. Let's look at the guy who said that he was the first person to jump out of a plane. So we have... His name was Albert Barry. He was a captain of the U.S. Army. I believe they didn't have an Air Force yet, but he was kind of like, in the proto-American Air Force. And I thought, well, that makes sense. Military, they have access to planes. Yeah. Of course, they'll invent parachutes. I'm sure this guy would be a much sort of clearer and more upstanding candidate for the...
I can see where this is going.
Yeah, you can tell that I'm smiling as I say this, because, it turns out this guy was involved in a really high-profile lynching.
Wow.
Not very long after he made his historic, allegedly, parachute jump.
Wow.
So, the first man to parachute was also... I looked into the case a little bit just to see if it was like all smoke and mirrors. The problem is, you can't really tell by, a lynching if anyone was like convicted or acquitted correctly. Because
so you need to put an allegedly in there.
I have to put an allegedly there for legal reasons. He was never actually convicted of wrongdoing.
Wait, he might be dead at this point.
Oh no, he's dead.
Is there any point to put an allegedly there?
No, actually there isn't. Fuck him. He's dead. I could say he shot the Pope.
I mean, yeah, because he can't come up.
Can't defame a corpse. So
yeah.
The Albert Berry estate might end up pursuing legal action, but I doubt it because basically what his role in the alleged lynching, which was actually. This is actually a two-part story. They tried to lynch him, like publicly at first. He actually managed to get himself arrested instead, the guy who was going to be lynched. So therefore, he was taken into police custody, where he was a bit safer. Then this fella in question, Albert Berry, walks in to visit the prisoner. I'm doing that with air quotes because you can't see, but yeah, he went to visit the prisoner, and the speculation is the mob that later broke into the prison and killed him anyway was given information about where his cell was by Mr. Albert Barry. Barry, whichever. I don't respect him enough to get his name right.
No, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Disrespect you, sir. You did a lynching.
Yes, you did. And it's just kind of indicative that the people who first looked at a plane and went, yeah, I want to jump out of that, from all historical record I can find, both terrible people.
Yeah. So is your list gonna have any good people except for the first two?
Well, interesting.
I see where this is going.
I to be fair, there were a fair few who didn't meet the criteria of being terrible people. One of them was a guy called David Kirk, who in 1979 did the first ever bungee jump. It was off of a big old bridge in Bristol. If you live in Bristol, you probably know the one. It's the one built by
the actual big one that it's hard to get across and it costs you a tenner.
I'm not sure if it costs you a tenner anymore, but it's big old bridge. It's like between these two massive canyons and there's a giant river. Yeah, the Brunel Bridge. Yeah.
Cost you a tenner to cross. Last time I was there.
I think by
I was
car
really
it does,
upset. Yeah, I was really upset.
By foot, it's fine. But by foot, it's also terrifying. If you have a fear of heights, I would avoid that bridge because you could look straight through the floor and yeah, it's just miles and miles. But yeah, anyway, so this died in 1979, which is a bit more recent than I thought. But just jumping off planes hadn't been invented until certain time.
1979. Well, that's probably because to do a bungee jump, you actually need the bungee, which is a rope that has flexibility in it to actually pull you up. Because otherwise, all the G-force, because you jump off, right, and your body exerts a certain amount of G-forces on its way down. So you need to slow the impact of. You can't just be like, I jumped off, the rope's really stiff, stop. Because then your whole body has to still exert because an object in motion stays in motion, right?
Yeah.
So you need that bungee to actually take that motion away from you. So I see why that will be.
They probably didn't have the commercial rubber required for doing a bungee jump.
To be earlier than that, yeah, definitely.
Although there was talk of they apparently were inspired by a traditional tribal practice in one of the Polynesian islands. I forget which one. It might be Vanuatu or something like that. But apparently they used to do like things with like really stretchy sort of rubbery vines.
Yeah.
But those don't exist over here. So the first official modern bungee jump was done by this guy David Kirk, and because it was the first one, being British and a bit mad, he wore a top hat and carried a bottle of champagne with him as he went down. So he went down looking like Brunel, I believe was his logic.
I want to see if there's a filming.
There is film of it. It's grainy as hell. It's grainy as hell.
Because I want to see if the top hat stayed on.
The top hat did not stay on.
Oh, okay. That would have been cool if he would have just taped his top hat on.
Yeah, just had a little table with like some tea and some crumpets.
And then as soon as they pull him back up, he just dusts himself and oh, that was jolly. I'm jolly happy now. That's great.
I'm giving you more excuses to do your English accent.
Oh yes,
I really
please.
shouldn't.
Yes, please.
But yeah, had the champagne uncorked by the time he got up apparently, and everyone was just covered in champagne. Everyone, I imagine, got covered in champagne because there's shaking up a bottle of champagne.
It's fun.
And then there's that. Then there's diving off a bridge to get it done. So
yeah, that sounded fun.
It was fun. It seemed like a good old time, and I was just surprised how modern it was. Like you said, like rubber. We never think about these technological developments.
It's I don't know if you ever did mountain climbing or climbing in a gym that has a
I've done a bit in indoor rock climbing.
So have you noticed that all the ropes are sort of elastic? In a matter of speaking, but the reason is again, if you fall down, you actually you sort of tension. It doesn't break your back.
Yeah,
right. Because if it would be just a stiff old navy rope and you fall down, and that will stop you. You probably break.
Yeah,
something.
you break a spinal part, and then you'd be fucked. Yeah,
because it has to be like when you do mountain climbing, there's two different types of ropes. So there's the rope that. Dude, I did it a long time ago, so I might be extremely wrong, but I'll still say it out loud. So there's the rope that the main guy in front uses, and there's another smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that the main guy uses, it's always a lot more elastic, and apparently it also has weight limits on it, and it also has sort of you can only use it for this many years before you can't use it, even though you never fell on it.
Mm.
And I think I heard somebody say once, if you do fall and this rope took your body weight, automatically you shouldn't use it anymore.
So it's like the crash helmet law,
It's
basically.
yeah. So it's like, but again, I haven't done this in a very long time. I was very young when I did it, so it's very fuzzy because we went. So there's the mountain race ski in Romania, and I used to hang out with them when I was growing up. It was great going in the mountains all the time. It was.
Did you get to fly in helicopters?
No. Not that kind of micro. They were not that important that people I hanged out with.
Oh, right.
And he used to.
They're listening right now and they're going, "We saved how many lives, Andre? How many lives did you see? How many lives have you saved working in hospitality?"
They'll probably not listen to this, but no. Shout out to the Romanian mountain Romania. They're phenomenal people. They spend most of their lives in mountains waiting for people to fuck up. But that's their job, right? They're in mountains job, and they paint all the markings on the trees, on the rocks, and they always make sure people don't get lost, even though people are stupid and they're like, "Don't go that way. There was a cliff fall," and they're like still going there because they're like, "Oh yeah, but that's quicker." It's like, "But you might be dead." How about you don't go that way? But they still do it. They still do it because people don't listen. Or even smarter people, when they close all the paths in Romania in the winter when it snows really heavily in the mountains, and they're like, "Don't go there." Guess what they do?
They go there.
Of course they do. I'm like, dude, this guy is a trained professional, tells you don't do that. And you end up doing it. And then they have to be like, they're at home, chilling, relaxing, and they get a phone call. It's like, "Yeah, another idiot is on the mountains.
Yeah.
Can you go rescue him?" And have you ever walked to 1.5 meters tall snow?
I've walked, like, this tallest snow I ever walked through was like about up, like just above my ankles. So,
Oh, no.
yeah, it's a bit
I'm talking is when you make a line of people and the guy in the front takes most of the hardship because he has to make paths and everybody else steps where he stepped.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy in the back is fine, so you have to switch at a certain point when the guy in the front's like, "Oh, I'm done. I don't have any more power," because you literally step on the snow, and you do have sort of these skis which have, I think it was called, I can't remember.
Well, snowshoes, like
they're not like snowshoes. They're like skis, but much shorter.
Oh.
And in the front, there's this sort of lettery kind of thing that sticks to snow for some reason. I think it was I can't say that. How was it? Big tusks.
Oh, walrus.
Yeah, that's a hard word to say if you're not natively English.
That's the L and the R.
Yeah. So it's like that animal's skin in the front of it. Listen, again, I do not remember. No homework on this. We're just jumping into the conversation.
Yeah, go for it. Though.
And they had that, but they still have to make a path, and everybody behind has to step. And this one idiot that got lost in the mountains, you might find him alive. There's very high chance you're not.
Yeah,
because it's like I heard horrible stories from the same people saying that, "Oh yeah, we couldn't find him, so 3 months later we went back on the path to see if we can find his body, and found his body, which was like eaten by animals and stuff." Because they're like, "Yeah, he was there, but we couldn't see him because there's snow."
Yeah,
which is, I mean, it's horrible. We shouldn't really laugh, but still, if you're stupid enough to do that, you kind of had it coming, right?
Yeah,
like natural selection is a thing, right?
It is. I mean, all these people who invented extreme sports that I'm going through right now, I mean, they were the only ones. They might have not been the first ones, but they were probably the first ones to do it and live.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh no, he killed himself. No, actually, he tried bungee jumping for the first time,
but he hadn't invented bungees yet. Yeah. Yeah, but, the Darwin Awards exist for a reason, people. If you've never read the Darwin Awards, I suggest you do.
I genuinely think we should do. It's probably overdone, but I really want to do Florida Man episode.
Oh, please, we need to do that.
That would be hilarious.
The good thing about Florida Man episodes of any podcast ever is that you never run out of Florida Man stories. Like, just like Florida Man, search for by today.
I don't think it's going to be a very long search.
No, it's not.
Going to be super quick. Be like, we have 150 Florida Man.
these things they're only going to escalate the more like people get phones.
Yeah.
as all the like the final pockets of people without cell phones with cameras, finally get their phones. We're going to just see more and more of this. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. Endless content.
So, and final extreme sport I'm going to cover, like in terms of why the fuck do people do this and who the fuck invented it. This is a new one. I wasn't aware of this until I sat down and started looking. Volcano boarding. So
no.
Yes.
No.
Volcano boarding. So
no.
Everyone knows what snowboarding is. It's cool. It looks cool. It's it can be very difficult. It can be very dangerous, but you wouldn't describe it as like an extreme sport, like super.
Snowboard is quite extreme.
It's
if you
quite
jump
extreme.
off the right mountain, it's quite
extreme.
extreme.
If you go down a double black diamond or however they categorize these things, then yeah, it can be an extreme sport. Okay, what about a double black diamond down the side of a mountain that's on fire?
Sounds fun.
It does, right?
Sounds really fun to watch from my couch while I'm sipping down on my beer.
Yes, in a nice temperature-controlled room where you're not being pelted by bits of volcanic glass.
That sounds really nice, actually.
So I should clarify here. There's two types of volcano boarding. There's inactive, which is basically just like it's like sandboarding. So it's like sandboarding, but the sand is really rough and dark.
Would an inactive volcano still have hot magma underneath it? Or?
It will still have hot magma, but it won't be like towards the surface. It won't be like if you go on and say an active volcano,
which is
board.
spitting magma.
Which is spitting magma. The temperature is like about it's about 50 degrees higher because the floor. If you've ever seen the side of a cone of an active volcano, it's not just like that the lava is hot. The whole mountain is hot. It steams like stuff like noxious gases come out of the and. Just regular old steam come out of the floor. And a lot of this stuff is, when people climb mountains, they're wearing thick boots, big old, thick trousers, like they're wearing protective gear at all times, because even just the rocks are really hot. So what you do is you take a big old sledge and you...
Oh, so it's not this board, it's just a sledge.
It's a board because there's only one of you on it. There's no, two-person teaming this, but you are... Generally, if you're sensible, sat down. Most of the volcano boarders I saw do sit down. They do control a bit more like a sled than a snowboard because if you're mucking around doing banks in stuff that might melt your board, then you might want to do that.
So what are they actually going down on hot magma, or it's just?
It's not on the hot magma itself, but there is always a risk of hot magma right behind you and spitting up. Apparently, a couple of people have been injured by flying hot rocks.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought that would happen?
I know, right?
No, that's ridiculous.
It sounds so unexpected as a thing to happen when you're going down.
No, dude, it's like a volcano is the most friendliest place on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, you can go there. You roast marshmallows. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's great. Imagine roasting a marshmallow and actually eating it, full of sulfite. It actually comes out of there. You might get a couple of diseases.
I have seen Icelandic researchers doing their sausages on a slow flowing lava flow, just holding a sausage on a stick and waiting for it to cook. Apparently they're quite tasty.
Well, listen, I'm gonna Google this. You keep on going. I'm gonna Google this. I'm curious.
If eating food off a hot volcano will kill you?
Yes.
Good, look it up. So, the reason I got interested in volcano boarding, at least today, was that this is another extreme sport where the person who actually invented it, there's a disagreement about. And the funny thing is, this only happened in the 2000s. Their video technology was kind of ubiquitous even back then. If someone says, "Hey, I'm going to take a piece of wood, cover it with some black stuff that will hopefully resist the heat, and then jump down the side of this volcano," someone's going to show up with a camera to look at that. A lot of the the information you get about volcano boarding is, as you might imagine, sparse because not many people are stupid enough. Most of them, anyway. But it's a big deal in places that have active volcanoes, such as Nicaragua and Polynesian islands, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the fella that I found credited the most was an Australian guy called Darren Webb, who said in 2004 that he invented the idea of going down a volcano on a piece of wood whilst it's on fire. And
so going down on a piece of wood, not even.
It is a wooden board. I should point that out.
But why wood though? Because wood would burn so quickly.
You would think, right? I mean, I guess in order to get the smoothness out, because bear in mind, the side of a volcano is not like sand. It's not like
Yeah,
tiny
yeah. It's quite rough.
It's rough. It's like stones and bits of like volcanic glass and crap like that.
That's absolutely right, though.
So you need something that's thick and tough, but also smooth. And wood, I suppose, kind of fits the description, or at least if it's. I believe there's a layer or something that they put on it to stop it from like getting heat damage, but it's not an especially thick layer. It's mostly made out of wood. The polycarbonates or whatever they use for snowboards. Obviously, they're not good for high temperatures.
Of course, it wouldn't, because it's like gonna melt and
it's gonna fiberglass out, and fiberglass and heat don't necessarily go well together. So it's basically a big old wooden plank, and I can see why people would believe this guy had invented it. Because it's a very Australian thing. Get on a bit of wood, go down a hill very fast, try not to get bits of volcanic glass in your eyes. Go team.
I mean, if you do live in a country where anything can kill you at any time,
why not?
Why would he's like, dude,
a fucking volcano, mate.
Yeah, well, I was thinking to do one of them accents, but I thought, no, just stop. You already tried the English accent. Don't try that one in the same recording. But thank you for doing that, Billy.
Have I opened the slightly racist accent door to you?
Yeah. So now I think I can get away with, because you got 2 accents in, so I got another accent that I can do by the end of the recording.
Is it going to be like
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Serbian or something.
Depends what minute we're on. I still have at least another 20 minutes to get in a racist accent in there.
I'm sure I'll provide you with an excuse and immediately regret it.
I will find one, Billy. I will find one.
But the true, and I have to say this to finish, the true inventor of volcano boarding, I'm going to mess up his name, Zoltan Istvar, I believe is his name, and there's actually footage of him doing it, which is how I believe he is the correct person to say invented.
Is he a Hungarian?
I believe he's an American, or I'm not sure where his family come from, but it's America, melting pot, blah blah blah. So I believe he's an American journalist who he's like a travel journalist.
Istvan, right?
Yes. Or Istvar. Was it Istvan?
Is it this guy?
Yes, possibly. Is that this? Wait, that guy said that says he's a politician. How did I not see that in my Googling?
American journalist and entrepreneur.
Oh, is he an oh right.
He's
I thought
an
he had the
entrepreneur.
picture with the flag. I thought that was like a politician thing.
No, I think he's very patriotic. He's Americans, how they are.
Oh, right. So
they enjoy their.
And also the guy who invented going down a volcano really fast on a piece of wood for fun.
Oh, actually, first search is volcano boarding, so I think it's him.
Oh, wow.
I think it's him. I think you got him.
I can't believe I didn't find that information from the. Okay, whatever. But he is. I know that he's an American, and since there is actually apparently recorded footage of it, although I can't actually find an original source for the footage, he was working for a magazine at the time. So they did have photo evidence of him doing it.
Yeah. Oh,
so
it actually is. But actually looks. I mean, I don't want to say it looks cool, because it does look a little bit cool. Like the images that you can see about it looks pretty cool.
Everyone's having fun. It's just worth noting that everyone's also dressed up in like really thick protective clothing, just so they don't get gravel
he's
rash.
In a t-shirt, my man.
What?
He's literally in a t-shirt.
Oh, okay. That guy's in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
The ones I saw of for like commercial, commercial volcano boarding, shall we say, the stuff you can do on holiday.
Of course, that would be. Oh no, but then you can see people in hazmat suits as well around.
Yeah, because like as I said, it could be there could be noxious sulfide chemicals, there could be random bursts of heat, there could be steam.
Dude, that's not even a sled, man. That's literally just a piece of wood.
Yep, told you. It's just a.
It does have something on the bottom of it, which I think it might be some sort of coating so it doesn't burn. But that sounds. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, no, it's fine. Hey, people do stupid things, and that's kind of one of the great things about people, right?
Yeah.
We see something going very fast, and we think, I wonder if that can catapult me over the side of the hill. Of course it can.
It could, but it can also just kill you.
It can also just kill you. So.
Modern extreme sports.
Modern extreme sports, ladies and gentlemen. If you have another extreme sport which has an interesting story you think I missed out or have not done enough justice, please post your responses and replies in the comments. I will go through them and reply to everyone, I promise.
To everyone, one of them. Probably.
The one person who sees this, who has an interest in volcano bungee jumping basket weaving,
So how about a new sport, right? You know how they sometimes jump out of helicopters and then straight onto skis and go to the side of the mountain?
Yeah, the James Bond
kind of.
Yeah.
But that's an actual thing. That's what people do. Mostly Red Bull sponsored sort of outlets. We do the same thing with a volcano, active volcano. Just put a parachute in him, right? Flying above. He jumps out. He skydives, right? And then he opens one of those big wing suits and he just floats down. Has also a parachute on himself because why not? You need to be safe. You're jumping into a volcano. You need to be safe. So you jumped out like sort of the big suits. You float. You quickly put your board on straight on the side of the volcano. You glide down, and at the end, a whole bunch of tigers. So if you go quick enough, you might pass the tigers and be safe. And then you just take it to the next level.
I was expecting you to say, right, we can find it with ski jumping. I'm having like a big...
No, tigers. Tigers. Either that or red squirrels. So...
The red squirrels will die from altitude poisoning. The tigers, on the other hand, I'm interested in. Okay. Can you get tigers that will go up to that, like the altitude of the side of a volcano? Volcanoes are big, man. Like the altitude, they might get.
But no, but it's at the bottom of the volcano. Tigers are at the bottom because you ski down.
You have to go right down. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you get down there, if you don't have enough speed, you will stop, and tigers will eat you. So the trick is, can you catch enough speed, glide past the tigers, and be safe?
Or alternate. Version of this, we make it Olympic and we include shooting as well.
No, you can't shoot tigers. Boy.
Oh yeah, they're endangered.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Well, maybe after we do this,
it's not fun in this century. They did all the stupid things in the past. We can't do any of the fun stuff anymore.
It's like all the guy who speeded all the time, so now we have to have limits on motorways.
What's up with
Screw you, Jonathan. Screw you.
Actually, speed limit is more of a suggestion for people that don't know how to drive and don't know where the speed cameras are.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, not that we would
do
ever
not
condone
endorse
any criminal
speeding at any point whatsoever.
Speeding is wrong, kids.
Yeah, do not do that.
But
so don't go 130 all the way to Dolchester. We do not recommend that.
With the so. First stage, so we're doing a triathlon basically here. First stage, skydiving.
Skydiving.
Yeah.
Into the volcano. Well, on the path that you can actually ski, because that would be ridiculous.
Lava.
Yeah. So, another stupid idea to add to this, because I can't stop thinking about stupid things. So you jumped out, you ski down the volcano, right? You ski past the tigers, you escape. Phenomenal. They start chasing you, and then there's a ski jet waiting for you by the sea, because probably a volcano, it's on the seaside. And there's a ski jet. You grab on, and you start sort of water skiing, because, keep the ski thematic. And you water ski, and all of a sudden, in that bay, it's full of sharks. So it's extreme.
And behind your jet ski, or whatever it is you're using, is like a fake seal.
Seal?
Yeah.
You can attract
with blood inside it, so it attracts the sharks.
I'm pretty sure sharks that don't go just for blood. They have a different kind of pattern.
They do smell blood really, really well, though.
Yeah, but I think they don't just attack you for the fun of it. They don't just.
No, but if you look like a seal.
So a guy that it's wearing a seal costume with seal meat inside of it jumps out of an airplane that goes down on a volcano. Runs, skis past the tigers, then ski jets right after.
But where do we go after that? Because we're only on a roll here. Where do we go next? There's got to be ski jumping.
There's got
to be jumps like floating in the the water.
So he ski jumps. I don't know, dude. It got out of hand there.
I think sea jumping, like he has to, like, eventually he only has enough fuel in whatever boat or whatever mechanical vehicle is pulling him. He only has enough fuel to go 1 mile. So he has to make sure that the fuel lasts him that 1 mile journey towards the rowboat.
So he's gonna start rowboating after all of that.
In the seal costume, whilst covered in seal meat and blood. Then have the rest of the destination be just like a long, thin tube with nothing but crocodiles and piranhas. that will be the final stretch, and
So he just rolls and rolls
just
and rolls.
row as fast as you can, buddy.
Just rolls as fast
Just
as you
row
can.
as fast as you
Yeah,
can.
because
Try not to
otherwise
get
there's crocodiles. How are you gonna get crocodiles in seawater? Are there seawater
There
crocodiles?
are seawater crocodiles.
Are
my
they
friend.
seawater crocodiles?
Yeah, they're the biggest and nastiest.
Okay.
Some of them
we're
eat
getting
sharks.
somewhere. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Oh. Never mind. Sorry, I looked at my phone. I shouldn't have done that.
No, you shouldn't have, especially
shouldn't
since
have-
you just saw the size of the average saltwater croc, and it's very
Yeah,
big.
it's a big ass thing, isn't
It's
it?
a big ass animal, and it's not something you want to mess with. Which is
Yeah.
why they make a perfect end state for our. We're gonna have to come up with a name for this extreme sport. I call it the Devil's Triathlon.
Okay.
I'm gonna call it that, even though there's more than 3 things.
Well, or it's called diddly doing, because it's just
Let's call it "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Oh, so Red Bull, if you want to sponsor our new extreme sport,
Yeah. I'm sure the logistics will be easy for a company.
I
like
mean,
you.
I'm pretty sure Red Bull can. If anybody could do it, I think Red Bull can.
Red Bull can do it. Yeah, we have
And
faith.
I
in
know
Red
the
Bull
name
as a
for this
company.
episode now.
What?
The episode that we sell out. 'Cause it's third time we're trying to sell out someone.
It's fun selling out. No one ever told me that when we started this. It's so much fun selling out.
Yeah, you need to be sellouts. Perfect. And any other small business that wants us to sell out to you, just give us a shout.
Yeah, tell us about your small business. I'm intrigued by your small business. We will talk it up. We will
Yeah.
we will have fun, like breaking your products and telling you how easy they were to break.
Yeah.
Anything like that, get in touch with us. It's
We will never fucking have a sponsorship.
never at all. You know what? Part of me is okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, too.
Part of me is okay with that.
Oh, given all of the things that you see on the internet with sponsorships.
Oh yeah, are there any good sponsors? Like
So the guy that I've been following for ages and I absolutely adore, Simon Whistler.
Mhm.
He has like a multitude of channels.
He's the bald guy.
The
who
bald
does-
guy,
yeah,
the
yeah,
English that lives in the Czech Republic. He's phenomenal. The way he reads all the scripts. He doesn't write scripts anymore because I mean,
He's
when
got
you
like
have
18 YouTube channels. It's ridiculous.
yeah, you can't write and read at the same.
I believe he actually accepts scripts from like
anyone.
Yeah, from experts.
He finds people to write scripts for him, which are great. Like I love his way of doing everything, and he's phenomenal, right? And he's taking the same sort of sponsorships again and again,
Mhm.
and because I like him as a person, I really want to think that his sponsorship actually means something. Even though he started advertising for an energy drinks company now, not one of the big ones. It's one of the small ones that comes in powder form. You put it in.
Oh yeah, like supplements. They're
They're not supplements. They're just an energy drink. And he's like, it's super high in coffee, and he starts shaking when he says it. And I'm like, all right, cool, dude.
Yeah,
calm down.
maybe overacting.
Maybe a little bit. Like he shouldn't have more than one of them.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple there's a couple of like ones when I see it, it's always like an because it means you don't if you get it from these people that you don't check your like sponsors, you don't really care who's sponsoring you.
Yeah.
One of them is BetterHelp. Anyone who like
BetterHelp, it's complete rubbish.
Yeah,
It's
I mean you can't do therapy with strangers and randos over Zoom and do it in like 5 sessions and think it's going to make a difference.
No, it doesn't. That's not how
If
therapy
it
works.
does make a difference, good for you. Honestly, like if you got help through BetterHelp and it worked for you, fine. But having seen the it might work for your standard sort of depression, anxiety, everyday average sort of person stuff. Maybe it works really well for that. I don't know, but compared to the amount of detail and training you need to give people actual therapy, these people are not necessarily qualified.
Probably not. They
Probably
probably
not.
just did a course and they're like, okay, you can be a therapist now.
A lot of them don't check who, because there's so many different qualifications you can get, and they are not all made equal, and they're not always standardized, and it depends on which country you're from, and it's really, really annoying and complicated.
Yeah,
BetterHelp is not what it seems, people.
But
That's
a lot of companies are not what they seem, and it's like you can't just go and be like, "Oh, this is going to be a good company, and we can work with this company."
You have to do such thorough fact checking. You have to basically hire like a private investigator to find out if you
even companies that initially looked like they're going to be great, like Honey.
They're getting screwed now.
Well, the whole community is upset because you can't take money from creators, right? It's
Yeah,
like, why would you take money from? I mean, I get it, but at the same time, guess you know what? I think I read this. Honey was bought by PayPal, right?
PayPal.
Yeah.
Does Peter Thiel still own PayPal?
Well, I was doing a different transaction about PayPal.
Oh, right. Peter Thiel, for those who don't know, is the world's most evil-looking man. Look up his face. You will have nightmares, and you can share those nightmares with your children.
Honey's owned by PayPal.
Honey's owned by PayPal.
As soon as you read something's owned by PayPal, you know they're the devil.
Yeah, PayPal's complete shit.
Yeah.
We love you, PayPal. Please sponsor us.
At least make us an offer because we want to make a whole video how we refused you.
Yes, please do.
That would be so satisfying.
We can go down the crimes of PayPal. It will be a very long podcast.
Oh, it's going to be great.
17 episodes.
Especially the ex-owner is...
Peter Thiel.
No.
Peter Thiel?
No, PayPal.
Oh, PayPal was partly owned by Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
Elon
It was
Musk.
partially owned by... But I think he was on the board of directors and they kicked him out.
Who you can't say his name...
Except everyone has to say his name because he keeps putting himself in the news. Yeah. It's really...
I heard a joke. I don't think I can say this joke out loud, but stop me if I can't say it.
Say it.
So it's like, I don't know who said it. I read it online and he said, you know why Elon Musk is actually not a Nazi? Because Nazi made good cars. So I think I'm going to have to cut that one out. Or we can leave it in there. We're not monetized.
Nazi, it's fine. They know what we meant.
Wait, we're not monetized.
Yeah, who cares?
Still put it in. And I don't think the argument is going to go until, what minute is it?
56.
I don't think it's going to go all the way to minute 56.
Oh, no, he won't. Unless someone clips it and sends it to him via X, the Everything app. That would be fun. Anyway.
Right. That would be one way of getting famous.
It would. Get called out by Elon Musk when you have 4 subscribers. But please do it, Elon. Please. It would be so funny.
It would be hilarious. It would be hilarious. Because it was like a bunch of nobodies in a spare room upset Elon Musk. Great headline.
He has been upset about smaller things.
Okay. Like
anyway.
What?
Anyway, we're going to wrap this up here, I think.
Yeah.
This has been an episode of the Billy and Andre podcast. Fuck Elon Musk, and we will see you.
Well, I'm not going to say that outro again. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.